only call because I'm sitting here alone and I'm drinking, and I need you. I'm just a drinking here alone, wanna leave and come see you. And if I'm picking up the phone, then I'm thinking I'm about to call you. And if you're picking up the phone, then you're thinking he's probably drinking alone. Girl, don't pick up the phone. Oh, in the moments when I'm all alone and the quiet's too loud, I got a choir in my head singing thoughts that I wouldn't say aloud. And if it wasn't for this jack, I'm sick and I would put down the phone. It's always the same thing round and round until I'm left here alone. I only call because I'm sitting there alone and I'm drinking, and I need you. I'm just a drinking here alone, wanna leave and come see you. And if I'm picking up the phone, then I'm thinking I'm about to call you. And if you're picking up the phone, then you're thinking he's probably drinking alone. Girl, don't pick up the phone.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Patrick Sargent Music here. I'm here with Niki, a fantastic singer-songwriter, also a radio personality, and we're here discussing music, life, jamming out.
I think when someone is inspired to write music, it's hard to quantify what creates that song, what inspires you, and you're really riding that wave, and I'm excited about it. So that's why I came out to hang out and play music with you.
I love it. You know, that's really the most important thing too. Is, you know, I want to inspire other people because it's like a mirror. You know, you bounce that inspiration off that person, sort of like we just did back there.
So Patrick, when did you start getting into making music?
Well, I started very early. I started when I was probably 4 years old. I started with the bass, and then when I was 5, I moved on to the drums. And then it was a little bit later when I started playing guitar. So I want to say about maybe 8 or 9 years old when I started really taking guitar seriously. But you know, when you think back on it, that's what really built the foundation for what I do right now. You know,
The bass and the drums
and the guitar,
is like
that's essential. You know.
people don't realize how much the bass and drums drive a song.
Absolutely.
And
that's the
so
most important
the
piece
fact
right
that
there.
you built from that foundation is why I understand how your songs are so good.
And I think what really helped me was the blues, because you can do pop without any of that stuff, but you can't do the blues without that. Like even if you look at Zeppelin, like
And you have
Bonham,
an element.
absolutely, Bonham was the most important part of Led Zeppelin.
I
So
totally feel that.
to be able to,
I feel
incorporate
how you weave that into your songwriting, and kind of what we were talking about while we played through the songs we were working on earlier, is your connection to the blues, the country, the bluegrass, the Americana aspects.
right, while also
of
trying to bring
songwriting.
that into the modern
But-
age, and give my own spin on it of what's going on.
But then
you know?
we're talking about Prince, we're talking about the soul, we're talking about
exactly.
all of the modern ways that people interpret that music, and you're crossing all of the genres with what you write.
I feel like
It's
I do,
very
you know?
universal.
That's why a good friend of mine, Ben Arundel, the engineer that works on my stuff, he gave me that name, Black Boy Rock, right? Because that's what all that stuff encompasses. It's really, it's not Black Boy Blues, it's not Black Boy Pop, it's everything combined. So it's Black Boy Rock. It totally made sense when he said
I
that.
love that, actually. I saw that, the Black Boy Rock, and I love that you identify that way, because rock really embodies all of those genres.
It does.
And it rocks. And that's
the
what
whole
you're
thing
doing.
right there, That's
You're
it.
just putting all that into your own brand.
I feel like I really try hard to do that.
Well,
It took a
Patrick.
long time to sort of understand branding.
Patrick, can you explain to people, the audience and the fans, like kind of like the journey that got you here, like the process on basically everything you went through like the past 5 years to get where you are now?
For sure. Well, 5 years ago, I was in a super bad drug addiction. I was addicted to crack and heroin and Molly
Holy cow.
and powder cocaine and just about everything.
You
can
went
get your
through
hands
all
on.
of it.
I went through all of it, and I was also having, bad relationship problems. As you can tell if you listen to the records. So, the last 5 years or so, when 2020 hit, I was able to harness, not working in the kitchen, because I worked in kitchens for a long time as well. So I was able to harness that. I always wanted to do this, but I didn't have the opportunity. And so what was great about Old Mill Road is, they came in a few years before that, but I didn't hear about them until.
Can you explain a little bit about what Old Mill Road is?
Oh, absolutely. It's an award-winning studio. It's an amazing place with amazing people. A lot of them are good friends of mine. And
How did you get hooked up with them?
well, coincidentally, it's right down the street from my house. It's like 3 miles down the street from my house. So, it's hard to miss it. It's hard to miss it.
And they saw something in what you were
They
creating.
did. It took a little bit of convincing, but eventually.
You made the connection.
Absolutely, because, the first song I ever did in 2020 was Lady Liberty, sort of a patriotic anthem. And that song was the experiment. That was the guinea pig, right? Like I said, I had done hip hop before when I was in my poser era or whatever. But I had never, I played all the instruments, but I never sat down and tried to make a record with all of them. I knew how to play the bass, knew how to play the drums, knew how to play the guitar, and I had these songs that I'd written in a halfway house. And so I said, let me take these 4 songs, Jimmy, Lady Liberty, Don't Pick Up the Phone was one of them. There was another one too. And so I said, let me sit down and actually do this. It's right there.
But
It's
how did
2020,
you
not much else.
switch from the idea to the technical side? Because that's a big jump.
It is. I had a little bit of direction from the people at Old Mill, which is fantastic. They were able to really work with me. But what they sort of did is they sort of gave me some guidelines, and they just said, here, roll with this, right? They said, let's get a drum machine and just put down something basics that you can lay the lines over it. And like I said, from starting at a super early age, I think all that really helped because it was just natural. I had the songs in my head. Yeah, I had them already in my head.
You just needed the venue to express it.
And I needed people that were willing to help me do that.
And you found that at Old Mill.
I did, absolutely.
So as for that,
That's amazing.
what advice would you give to people who are trying to also become musicians and people who are struggling to do so?
That's a fantastic question.
A hard question.
It is. It's a really hard question. The first thing I would say is something we were talking about a little bit off camera. Authenticity. Authenticity is super important, right? So
Really
find your center. I would say that's the first thing is find out what you want to say, and you can figure out how you want to say it later. But just first figure out what you want to say, right?
Agree.
Secondly, I would say, at least for me personally, the musicianship is also the other factor that's sort of at play here, is to really just hone your instrument. Write songs, write. I've been in a
It
little
could
bit
be
of
more
writer's
than
block,
one
but
instrument, but practice.
Practice, absolutely.
Focus. Practice is essential. You can't just show up without practice and think that it's going to happen.
My old
One last thing. We got a minute left. Just introduce yourselves both individually. So, ladies first.
I'm Niki Chaos. NIKIKAOS, Land of Chaos, RadioX.com. I'm interviewing Patrick.
Be sure to check me out at patricksargentmusic.com. Don't pick up the phone. I would love for you to check it out. So thank you guys so much.
Because I'm sitting there alone and I'm drinking, and I need